Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
I'm Bullhorn Betty. This is the Bullhorn Betty channel. We cover true crime. And today we're going to get caught up on a case we haven't talked about in a little bit. We have, but we've talked about it in passing, so to speak, and haven't really discussed a whole lot other than that. So I wanted to go over the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. This is a case that has perplexed us since the beginning of May. And I'm going to go through, I got a little, spiel here, and then we're going to dive into the most updated interview that we have, which was done by the Drunk Turkey show. And we're going to be going over that just a little bit, diving into that particular interview and seeing if anything makes sense or doesn't make sense. I want to go ahead and thank the people that have already been helping me with my goal. I truly do appreciate it. We've got Melanie. She says, happy Saturday, Betty. Delilah, Mods, and Chad. I wanted to send prayers to the E's and Lisa be always, and whoever else needs prayers. Much love to you, Betty. Aw, Lisa be always. I didn't realize you needed prayers. Well, prayers to you, my love. Prayers to you. Robin, everyone hit that like button. Happy Saturday. Thank you. And Gigi for life. Good morning, Betty, Mods, and Beans. It's nice to see you all. Thank you so much for all your love and support that you show this show. Everybody from the mods to the audience, good morning. So let's go ahead and get started. As you're coming in, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is again going over the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. Many of you know, just a little tidbit of information. We're still in a government shutdown. We're still having the right and the left duking it out, and of course there are going to be some people that are going to be affected predominantly. The WIC program is the one that's going to be hit the hardest during this lockdown, and that is for the parents, the mommies that need nutrition for their little ones. And I'm not really happy about this. I think that if you're a Democrat, you need to be calling your senators and telling them to open the country up. That's what I'm going to say. To each their own, do you, but that's just my opinion. Even if you're not a Democrat, I think it's time for us to be calling our Democrat senators and telling them to open up the damn country. Just saying. Good morning, April, Oma, me and you, all the rest of the gang that's here. We got Nightbot going, so it looks like we're going to be relieving some of the tension from our mods a little bit. So in a quiet rural community of Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia, a family's worst nightmare unfolded on a spring morning, May 2nd, 2025. 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack vanished from their Gairloch Road home, sparking one of the most extensive searches in the province history. What started out as a possible wandering incident has evolved into a mystery shrouded in speculation and unanswered questions. Today, over 5 months later, the siblings remain missing with no confirmed sightings since the day before their disappearance. Here's the factual background of what we know, presented in a chronological order. On May 30th, Lily, Jack, their mother Malehya, stepfather Daniel, and younger sister Meadow went to a friend's house together, returning home around 10:19 p.m. Lily had a black eye upon returning home. I think it's noted that, her black eye. That was told to us by Daniel. The next day on May 1st, the family was captured on surveillance footage at the Dollarama store in New Glasgow around 2:25 p.m. The children were kept home from school due to Lily's cough, which I really truly believe it's the black eye that kept them from school, but I digress. Malehya later reported the kids went to bed around 9 to 10 p.m. while Martell stayed up longer. On the morning of May 2nd at 6:15 a.m., Brooks-Murray, Malehya, the mom, notified the school that the children would be absent due to illness. So it was Malehya that called that in at 6:15. Between 8 and 9:40 a.m., while the parents were in their bedroom with Meadow, Lily was seen entering and exiting the room several times, and Jack was heard in the kitchen, according to Daniel and or Malehya. At around 8:50 a.m., Martell's mother, Janie McKenzie, who lives on the property, heard the children playing and laughing on the backyard swings before falling asleep. Shortly before 10:01 a.m., the parents searched outside after realizing the children were gone, noting the front door wrenched was undisturbed, suggesting they exited through the back sliding door. At 10:01 a.m., Malehya called 911, reported the children missing. Lilly was believed to be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots, Jack and blue dinosaur boots. During the search, Daniel, thought he heard the children scream, but could not confirm that due to overhead helicopters, allegedly. 12:25 p.m., RCMP issued a statement initially believing the children had wandered off with no signs of abduction. I wonder if their thoughts of abduction have changed since that initial assessment. I'm unsure. An update followed at 4:55 p.m. with volunteer persons advisory. In the early hours of May 3rd, around 12:45 a.m., Brooks-Murray contacted police suggesting the children's estranged biological father, Cody Sullivan, might have taken them to New Brunswick. Officers visited Sullivan's home at 12:50 a.m., where he denied involvement, having not seen the children in 3 years. That day, searches expanded with over 100 police and volunteers using ground teams, dogs, drones, and helicopters. By May 4th, the search involved 160 people, and Martell publicly urged checks at the border and airports for possible abduction, the same abduction that law enforcement had dismissed back on May 2nd. By May 6th, Martell reported that Malehya had left to stay with family and blocked him on social media. The children's maternal grandmother, Belinda Gray, stated that the family was praying for their return but advised police to limit media action, but was advised by police to limit media interaction. The search was scaled back on May 7th, with police stating no confirmed sighting and low chance of survival. They basically told us the children were gone. They were dead. A renewed effort, May 18, 2025, included 115 volunteers and police. By May 28th, the RCMP confirmed that May 1st Dollarama sighting. By June 11th, the investigation involved 11 RCMP units, hundreds of hours of videos, 54 interviews with some polygraphs, 488 tips, and some seized items. Polygraph tests allegedly show Brooks-Murray, Daniel, and Malehya as being truthful in part, along with others, although Mackenzie's was inconclusive. Janie's polygraph was inconclusive because of her medical condition, allegedly. On June 19th, Nova Scotia offered a reward of $150,000 for valuable information. Court documents July 16, 2025 indicated the case was no longer considered criminal. I don't know if that is true or not, but that's what I'm seeing here. Court documents from July 16th indicate the case was no longer considered criminal. I don't know how that could possibly be a reality, but that might be a mistype somehow, or source was brought in that was inaccurate. In August 2025, released documents revealed pieces of Lily's pink blanket found in a tree about 1 kilometer away and another in a trash bag at the driveway with no scent trail. A witness reported seeing similar children approaching a woman in a tan or gold sedan on May 2nd. The problem with that sighting is that came in over 30 days after the fact, and nobody can tell whether those were the children, and the children described were much older and larger than the subsequent children that are missing, Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Over 760 tips and 88,000 videos were reviewed with forensic testing ongoing. The parental grandmother called for a public inquiry citing prior child protection concerns. On September 19, 2025, the RCMP announced the use of cadaver dogs in new searches. That's kind of worrisome because this is just recently that they're bringing in the cadaver dogs. Hey, Lisa, it's nice to see you, love. It's problematic because where were the cadaver? The cadaver dogs should have been on site like by day 2, day 3, day 4, early on, because there was a lot of stuff that could have been picked up that allegedly isn't being picked up. Guys, for the new people coming into chat, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on the way in if you'd like to help. There's several ways that you can help this channel grow, and one of those ways is thumbing up. Another way is just going into the chat box and saying hi to the crew here, either just waving at them, giving them a thumbs up, or just saying good morning. That's a great way, and also sharing this information out. A lot of people are very interested in the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. This seemed like this would have been solved. It seemed very cut and dry. The children had wandered off. They got lost in the rugged terrain, and that they were going to be found fairly quickly, either deceased or still alive in grave condition. But at this point, they haven't even been found. Oh, well, looky. Thank you, Miss B. Betty fan. Appreciate that. She's acting like she's a new member, but we know she's been around. She's one of the oldest. She's one of the oldest kids on the block. We love you. Thank you so much. But why weren't these cadaver dogs brought in earlier? Especially after they heard about the, 5-gear, cylinder type of vehicle running back and forth 6 different times. You would think that the cadaver dogs would have been out in that area almost immediately. But it sounds like they didn't bring these cadaver dogs in until September 19th, 2025. And that's according to 2 different sources. As of early October 2025, more than 820 tips have been received, but the children remained missing. Public sentiment has been marked by frustration and wild speculation, fueled by the lack of concrete updates from authorities. Many in online communities, including true crime enthusiasts on platforms like YouTube, i.e. Bullhorn Betty, and Reddit, believe the children didn't simply wander off, but were met with foul play, possibly an accident or intentional at home or nearby, given the dense terrain and absence of traces. My problem is that these parents seem, oh, good gracious. Good morning, SPED teacher. Thank you. Thank you for that gracious gift. 10 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Goodness. SPED teacher, it's nice to see you, my love. For those beautiful people that received your coveted Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell SPED teacher thank you. And I've had a pleasure of meeting SPED teacher in the flesh, and I gotta tell you, she is gorgeous. I love her eyes. Good morning. So welcome to the 10 beautiful people. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insane asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. It's gonna be a crazy ride, I tell you. Crazy ride. I know, people.
And now, an important message.
Thought we would throw that one out there. Thank you, the real me too, for the button. Thank you. All these beautiful people becoming members. It's nice to see you. So, we have all these, YouTube and Reddit, and I'm one of those people that don't believe anything, okay? We've been around the block a time or two. We've seen this case play out, different name, different faces, but the same story, right? Domestic violence, substance abuse, drugs. We have all of that mixed in with this case. Like, why in the hell would this mother, look how beautiful these kids were, Why would a mother drag these kids out to this nonsense here? These kids did not look like this in their end days before they went missing. They were raggedy. They didn't appear to be clean. They didn't seem like they were happy kids, okay? Mom was not treating the kids, neither was stepdaddy, well, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I wasn't there. I wasn't living the life, so I really don't know, right? But rumors swirled around the family dynamic, including the parents' estranged post-disappearance and unverified claims prior to concerns like bruises on Jack or the black eye on Lilly just 2 days before they disappeared. April 30th is when she exhibited a black eye in the evening. By 10:20 when they arrived home, she's got a black eye. And then the Wednesday, that was they were off that day, and then they were supposed to come back on Thursday or something. I think it was Thursday, and they called the kids out of school. And it's because they had already had CPS involved in their life, and now Lily's got a freaking another black eye. I don't believe the kids had coughs. I believe it was her black eye. Some family members, like paternal grandmother Belinda Gray, expressed doubt the children are alive and rely on true crime shows for information, which have generated tips but also spreaded misinformation. I don't know if it's misinformation that's being spread because nobody knows the truth. How can you call something misinformation when you don't even have the truth? How do you know it's not? You know what? Hey, law enforcement, can you tell us what's misinformed here, please? Please tell us what's misinformed. That might help us, okay? You can't just say, oh, this is misinformation. What's misinformation? Clear it up for us. Clear it up for us. All right? Discussions often highlight red flags, like the parents' behavior. Okay, those are red flags to me. We've done this long enough. We know that normal parents don't act the way that Malehya and Daniel are acting, okay? We see this all too often. We see it in people like the West family, right? Remember Jacqueline and Trezell West and how they were acting? Let's look at Leilani Simon and her mother, the way that BJ and Leilani were acting. I mean, we see these people that have done terrible things to their children and how they act. And we know that it identifies it in behaviors like Don Wells and Candace Bly or Chris and Katie Proudfoot. We've seen these red flags all too often because we know what parents are supposed to look like and act like when they're missing a child. So when we don't get that, we know something ain't right. Period. Period. So, they were highlighting red flags in the parents' interview, neighbor accounts, and vehicles heard leaving the property the night before. Again, more sources identify those things. Overall, the public feels the case points to something suspicious rather than simply an accident, with calls for more transparency from the RCMP. Now, I will be honest with you all. I kind of feel that the RCMP has given us a lot more information than we're accustomed to getting from, say, our law enforcement here in the United States of America. For example, we have, what was that case we just did? Jake Harrow, baby Emmanuel Harrow. That's it, Harrow, right? And we know that Chad Bianco, right? By the way, Chad Bianco got he had a little boy arrested that went to school that said something negative, like they were going to kill him or something like that. I don't know. People are getting arrested. It's no time to play, okay? Don't be on it. You folks, don't be on the internet talking about how you hate this person and you like to see a bullet in this person, that person. This time and place in our country, it's not the time nor the place. Keep yourself out of jail. They're arresting kids now, okay, folks? They're arresting kids for these words, and they're no longer words, okay? We're in a very violent time in our country. Hey, Rose, nice to see ya. Very violent time in our country, and children as well as adults need to put a plug in it, okay? I don't want to see anybody going to jail over, stupid running the mouth, venting BS, because that's what's happening. And Chad Bianco, which is associated with Emmanuel Haro case, I think the kid was like 13 or 14 that just went to jail. So don't do it. Overall, the public feels the case points to something suspicious rather than a simple accident. We're calling for more transparency from the RCMP. Nova Scotia government is now offering $150,000 for information leading to the children's locations. Still have not been found. If you have any details, no matter how small, please contact the Northeast Nova Scotia Major Crimes Unit at 902-869-5060, or you can report anonymously at Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers, which is 800-222-8477. Share their photos, stay vigilant, report any potential sighting. We've had no potential sightings of these kids, folks, okay? We've had no potential sighting of these kids. So that I'm going to keep because that took a little bit of time, but that was basically the breakdown of where we are in this case when it comes to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. And, of course, the Drunk Turkey Show actually had a very rare interview with Daniel Martell. Okay, this is the children's stepfather. And we're going to go over this because, like I said the other day, I knew that this was coming up. I had already saw that the Drunk Turkey Show was putting out some clips, and I just knew that they were going to be doing a live. And so now we've got the live. Good morning, Jeffrey. It's nice to see you. Somebody said her lawyer told her not to pursue a counterclaim because you're broke. This is, first of all, let me tell you something. I think this is ridiculous, and it doesn't really matter at this point because I did what I needed to do. I'm going after Burnt Toast. I'm going after BTEM, and I'm going after anybody else that thinks that they can sit on these platforms and harass people at no end. And as a matter of fact, this whole concert and stuff that just happened with this, although legal, it is public record that, but it's the point that they're doing it to humiliate me and embarrass me, and that's the problem. So now I've decided I'm going to be federally suing them. So Jeffrey, you can take that and you can shake that and shove it up your ass. But until these people learn, I guess we're just going to have to be in court for the rest of our lives until they learn what they can and cannot be doing. So I know BTEM and as well as Burnt Toast, they sit here and try to hurt people. And they try to push them over the edge. And that's no longer acceptable. So take that with a grain of salt. Take that with whatever you want. But these lawsuits aren't over yet. I showed grace, and I showed the world that these people will not stop, even when given grace. So now when we take the gloves off, we're really taking the gloves off. We already have the whole plan out. We went through all the, the Queen Bee suit, right? So now I have all the templates. Do you think I'm going to waste time with these idiots anymore? It's not a troll. I mean, maybe it is a troll. Let's just see. Hold on here. Let me get my Waka troll. So for the people,
sneaky gremlins love to fight, but we're here to set it right. Jump and duck, let's take a shot, turning trolls into what they're not. Whack a troll, whack a troll, let 'em tumble, let 'em roll.
going to be, in all fairness, I'm not going to be playing with these people. If they want to stay in court with me, then fine. That's what we'll do. I've showed the whole entire world that I've showed them grace. I've done as much as I can possibly do to be the bigger person in all of this, and they still won't stop. So I guess we're just going to keep going until they get a clue. So now it's going to be B-Tim and Burnt Toast, okay? Those are the two people that are in concert. They're both out of state. We're going to go federal court. Obviously, district court wasn't good enough for these folks, so we're going to go federal court. And I'm actually going to be bringing Queen Bee back into at least one count that has happened since the ending of her case. So now everybody's going to need. Now we're going to need to get attorneys for 3 people. Okay, so I hope you guys understand that I've showed grace once. I'm not going to do it again. Now we're going to go for round 2. Okay, when you're done committing crimes, civil or otherwise, maybe then you guys can stop. But until that day comes, we're going to be back in court, folks. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We will be back into court. I've given them every opportunity to stop. They refuse to. There's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing, literally nothing I can do about it. So they want to spend their audience money. Their audience are only going to have so much money for so long. And they're going to get sick and tired of having to keep ponying out this money for stupid bullshit just for them to constantly be spending their money for no results. That's what's going to end up happening. But hey, I'll play the game.
I know that that has been on your property. They looked at your property. So I know that there's still movement in the case. Right now, are you confident in where the investigation is going?
It's a little bit different from my point of view versus, the public eye. But right now, I'm fairly happy with what they're doing. I mean, they're pulling out all the stops. I mean, cadaver dogs or human remains dogs took a long time to come in, but I mean, everything's falling into place like it should. It's just the amount of time that's passed. It's just, for some people, it's not fast enough.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's a sad situation. Jack and Lily went missing in May. I couldn't imagine how, you guys were feeling in the moment of having the kids missing and then somewhat like the entire world turning against you. How has that been for you guys? Has it kind of calmed down as things gotten worse here recently?
No, Daniel, it never calms down. Some of those Facebook groups, they're absolutely relentless every day.
Yeah, and I mean, it appears to me, at least, when I look through the RCMP documents, I look at what the investigators have done and what they have said flat out, that sounds like they've cleared you guys. Have they told you guys that specifically, that they do not believe you guys are suspects?
I don't know if I should say this or not, but they came out and told me and Mom privately, like probably almost 3 months ago now, that we know that you guys had nothing to do with it. And we know that you guys have no involvement with the disappearance.
Yeah. Well,
and it wasn't just one investigator that told us, it was multiple different times privately. So it wasn't just one investigator out of the blue that said it.
And has it always been that way? Or was there a moment, maybe perhaps in the beginning, where you felt that that wasn't the case? Maybe perhaps their eyes were on you?
I'm not sure. I think for the first month, they were pretty dead set that, we need to investigate Daniel a lot.
Hmm.
I mean, with the amount of interrogations I did and with the sheer amount of, I was pretty upfront with everything. I was cooperative with everything. So it kind of made it easier for them too, right? They didn't have to get any warrants. They didn't have to dig for anything. I mean, I handed them my phone. I asked for the polygraphs. I asked for everything.
Yeah. I mean, usually when somebody cooperates as much as you guys have,
Sorry, guys,
and law enforcement is looking into it, if they're looking at you guys as some form of suspect. And if you're looking at somebody hard enough and you're pulling all the stops and you're not finding something, that's usually because something happened there. So, let's back up. Let's go and start from the beginning. The kids missed school before their disappearance. A lot of people were looking at that in a suspicious manner. I know that they were seen on camera the day before they disappeared. So the fact that they were missing, as weird as it was, as far as the timing goes, doesn't necessarily mean something nefarious happened. But tell us, why weren't they in class?
Well, I know Wednesday they had what they call a PE day, which is, kind of like an in-service.
So Wednesday. So again, going back to our here. So Wednesday, as you see, we have Monday, right? Monday, right there. Now you go over. You got Tuesday, closed school. Or excuse me, they did go to school Tuesday. So Monday and Tuesday they went to school. Wednesday, or did they go to school? Let me move this out of the way so I can read that. Okay, so Monday they went to school. Tuesday they went to school. Wednesday it was closed, and that's when they went to wash clothes at a friend's house. And when they came back, Lily had a black eye. Thursday they were supposed to go back to school, but they were called in sick, and then by Friday they were reported missing. Just to remind you guys the timeline. Here's the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And so no children attended the school that day. And then on Thursday, Lily had a cough. And I really didn't know if Malehya was going to keep them home for Friday, but, kind of turns out that she did. And when I woke up that morning, I wasn't expecting the kids to be home. I seen Lily poke her head into the room a couple times that morning.
Yeah.
And she didn't have a cough. She wasn't sick, not like the day before. So, I wouldn't really have kept them home, because they were kept home a lot because they were sick a lot during the school year. But
so that's new information. They've been held out of school a lot, it sounds like. And I don't believe it's because they're sick. I believe it's because things have happened to those kids that they wanted to keep from the school. Why did Lily have this cough? Exactly. And not only that, but her cough has nothing, he's talking about her having a cough. That has nothing to do with Jack. Why wasn't Jack? A lot of it because of bruise? I think so. I think a lot of it has to do with bruises, Big Back Mike. I mean, absolutely. YouTuber, it's nice to see you, love. But they were, they were, the story is on the 30th, Lily was playing with a Tonka truck or something like that, and it jumped off the floor and hit her in the face and gave her a black eye. Now, we all know the type of pressure it takes to cause a black eye. Even when our kids are playing and we get black eyes, we're hit pretty freaking hard. Not from a toy Tonka truck jumping up off the ground. How it jumped up off the ground by itself, I have no earthly idea. Right? I have no earthly idea. But that is the story. And now we're learning from Daniel that the children were kept out of school multiple times. A lot of times. He's saying a lot. A lot of the times due to their illnesses, allegedly. So these kids are being neglected. They're not going to school to hide something, in my opinion. Granted, that's not what he's saying, but I believe it. I believe it's to hide something. I think it's to hide the abuse. That's a sign, too, that they're malnutrition. Yeah. SB teacher knows she has to watch out for all of this stuff. You know? It's just, it's awful. It's awful. It's awful, folks. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Something's going on with these kids. And Daniel's basically saying, these kids were left, out of school. Listen to this.
That morning.
Yeah.
And she didn't have a cough. She wasn't sick. So not like the day before. So, I wouldn't really have kept them home, because they were kept home a lot because they were sick a lot during the school year. But
allergies, or is this like
no, they just had low immune systems, Daniel.
Okay.
I mean,
all of a sudden
for the first, 11 weeks of school, they were sick each week. Not they brought home COVID and stuff like that. But you can't expect a kid to be perfectly.
First of all, the idea that children had COVID is bull. COVID, the people that COVID affected the least was children. Okay, I don't know what children were getting, but I can tell you on good count that children did not get the COVID virus like they said they did. To be honest, with low humidity, yeah, they don't have all of a sudden. All of a sudden, and if they do have low immunity, it's because of all the cigarette smoke, all the drug smoke that's in the house that's wearing on their immunity potentially. I mean, that's a possibility, but yeah, let's just keep going.
Healthy when they're hanging out with other children, right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And so it sounds like she was pretty bad the day before she went missing on Thursday.
Yeah, she did have a cough, but I was never expecting Malehya to keep them home for both days.
And so that was Malehya's decision then to keep.
Yeah, of course. She woke up that morning on the morning of the disappearance and marked Jack and Lily both as absent.
So now you now see, but once we need to go back to the beginning. Hey DC, it's nice to see you, love. We need to go back to the beginning of this because I think this is where things change. Because it seemed there for a while nobody knew who called in the kids from sick. Nobody knew who was the one that first, saw these kids as missing. Nobody knew that. Okay, all of a sudden, boom, we've got somebody saying, "Oh yeah, that's right. This happened. Blah 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 blah." But at first, Malehya's the one that said, "Yeah, I looked at my partner and said I don't hear the kids." Well, one of his interviews basically said the same blessed thing, that he looked at Malehya and said that. So they couldn't even figure out who noticed the children missing first. And that's always a problem. That's always a problem. Everybody knows who it was. Everybody knows.
At 6:17 and 6:18 a.m.
Good deal. And so the last time that they're seen is on camera the day before. What happened the night after they're seen on camera? What was that night like?
The night that they were seen on camera, they were seen on Thursday. They were seen at Dollarama, and then we went to Acropole. We got some food and then brought it home. When we got home, it was a little bit before 4:00, and I went outside and helped Mom work on the fence. It took me a little while to find all my tools and stuff, but then after I got my drill and everything else, and I helped Mom work on the fence for quite a few hours until it was.
You don't hear him say anything about the pool, do you? They worked on the fence. I keep trying to figure out when this pool and preparing for the pool came into play, because that's Janie's story of why there were certain things tampered with, so to speak, on the graveled pave, the drive there. She had to explain some things, and the only thing she could explain was that she was preparing it for a pool. Doesn't make sense.
Just coming on to dark, and then after it was dark, I came back inside. What I remember, the kids were sleeping, but when you're looking back in time, Daniel, it's hard to, kind of remember everything and get a feeling for how the night really was, because it just seemed like a normal night, right? When I came inside, I thought the kids were sleeping, and I could have swore they were sleeping, but it says in the documents that she had them up till 9 or 10 at night. I don't remember them being up that late, so I'll tell you that.
Were you looking at your phone or your watch at what time it was every
Yeah, I mean, I got a watch on my arm the whole time, and I never look at it, man. I'm always grabbing for my phone.
It's not uncommon unless you're like something specifically happens and you look at the time at that specific time. I know a lot of people are looking at, certain times where, I think they were asleep by 9:30 and the documents say 10. And like, oh.
Do we find it a little odd that we have two parents in the house giving different stories of when a child disappears? So he's saying that he was out. We all know that there's no possibility of him being out there working on the fence past dark. That's ludicrous. Okay, and he's having a hard time finding his tools. He just said, "Hey, I had to. It took me a little bit to find my tools." So I doubt he went through and found lighting, right, to go work at night. So we know that whatever he did was done during the day, and he looks like a putz, and he looks like a lazy ass because he's not doing jobs. He's not doing work. He's not providing for his family. He's going and working and living off Malehya, whatever Malehya's getting, and he's going and working at the sawmill potentially once a week. Okay, he's a lazy putz. So he's going to be dragging his ass. Look how long it probably took him to find his damn tools, right? So we know he's not going to be out there past dark working on this fence. And he's saying the kids were sleeping when he came back in, but Malehya had them up. Now you're talking about, this is where I start having problems, because this is the night before these children disappeared. Okay? And this is when their story starts becoming wildly different. It's the night before, and we all know how I feel, about parents that can't produce children and children disappear. Usually it's the parents. The parents have something, okay? The parent, it's something with the parents, okay? It's something. And here we have their stories wildly different at night. Now, what I'm hearing is Daniel separating himself from the family, him and his mommy, from anybody else inside the house, right? Malehya, Meadow, the kids. He's outside with mommy, helping her with the fence. He walks in, everything's quiet. Don't know what happened to the kids. I think the kids are sleeping, even though Malehya said that these children didn't go to bed until 9 or 10 that night. I feel like he's setting Malehya up as the person that did something with these children the night before. Now we're starting to see a picture being painted here. Without this interview, I don't know if we could. So now we're hearing he's away from the kids and Malehya. He comes back into the house. These very rambunctious, loud, screaming kids are sleeping, allegedly. At least he thinks they are. And then he finds out, wait a minute, Malehya's saying that she kept them up until 9 or 10. I could have sworn they were sleeping. So while he was out messing with the fence, did she hurt the kids? Did she hurt the kids? Because when he came back in, he didn't hear these very loud, rambunctious kids. We all know that everybody that talks about Lilly and Jack, there's one thing that they talk about with these kids, and that's how extremely loud they are. Everybody talks, even the bus driver, about how extremely loud these kids are. How in the world did he come back in the house and not realize the kids weren't up? How can the kids be up until 10 or 9 or 10 o'clock and him not hear these very loud and rambunctious children? So that's starting to form for me that something happened to them the night before. Again, speculative, but this is from his words that are putting this stuff together for me.
Oh my God, there's 30 minutes here that
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a wild expectation for people to expect to remember things, especially on, like you mentioned, on a night that was pretty normal. But that night, what time did you go to bed?
I went to bed actually.
That is bullshit. Because he should have remembered. And the very next day, these children disappeared. One of the most ingrained images in his brain. Everything at this point, this time later, this is 6 months later. They disappeared on May 2nd. It is October 4th. And he did this on, a few days ago, maybe, I don't know, several days ago. So right at about a 6-month period. And you're telling me in 6 months you have not went through your entire, how can you be, this is where it gets me so frustrated, because we know law enforcement demands that they have a timeline. They have them put a timeline together. They should be fluent with this timeline in 6 months. They shouldn't have any questions of where they were, even if they had forgotten. By the time they're at this point in this investigation, they should know exactly what happened, because they have been, questioned on it at length. They've had to prepare timelines. They had to explain when something was off, when a millisecond was off. Well, what were you doing in this millisecond? And then he comes here on this, it's so hard for me to remember, what happened that day. How? You've had to say this day over and over again to how many different law enforcement bodies, and you can't remember what you said to them? Cut it out.
Actually, a lot later than Malehya did, I think. Malehya was already asleep when I came into bed. I remember flicking on the light for the kids at 12 at night, a little bit after 12. So
we're going to go back like a minute.
I thought the kids were sleeping.
Here we go.
And I could have swore they were sleeping, but it says in the documents that she had them up till 9 or 10 at night. I don't
Mhm.
remember them being up that late, so I'll tell you that.
Were you looking at your phone or your watch at what time it was every few
Yeah.
minutes?
I mean, I got a watch on my arm the whole time, and I never look at it, man. I'm always grabbing for my phone.
It's not uncommon unless you're like something specifically happens and you look at the time at that specific time. I know a lot of people are looking at certain times where I think they were asleep by 9:30 and the documents say 10 and like, oh my God, there's 30 minutes here that
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a wild expectation for people to expect to remember things, especially on, like you mentioned, on a night that was pretty normal. Um,
That is not true. Not in a situation like this. Now, if we were here at this day, October 4th, and having to look back at what happened on May 2nd, yeah, we would have a problem trying to remember. But when you're at May 2nd and having to figure out what you did on May 1st, it's a little bit easier. Okay, he's acting like he's just realizing he needs to figure out what he did on May 1st today or whatever this interview was going on, but that's not the case. He should have remembered it back the day after that day happened when he was required to tell law enforcement what happened. How can he not remember what he told law enforcement happened? Okay, I'm done.
but that night, what time did you go to bed?
Give me just a
I
second.
went to bed actually a lot later than Malehya did, I think. Like Malehya was already asleep when I came into bed. I remember flicking on the light for the kids at 12 at night, or a little bit after 12, so a little bit after midnight, and both of the kids were fast asleep under the covers.
So what time did he really come in? This doesn't make sense. He just said he came in. Okay, let's break this down. And maybe I'm misunderstanding something. Maybe I missed something. But he's saying he's coming in from working on the fence. It wasn't as late as 9 or 10 o'clock, so it wasn't pitch black outside, right? He couldn't work in pitch black. So we know it had to have been earlier than that. And he's saying that he doesn't believe the kids were in bed by 9 or 10. But when he came in, that everybody was asleep? Well, which is it? Am I hearing that correctly? Let me go back. I feel like I'm missing something here, but that's what it sounds like he's saying.
Time it was every
Yeah.
few minutes?
I mean, I got to watch them, and I could have swore they were sleeping, but it says in the manual it's hard to, kind of remember everything and get a feeling for how the night really was, because it just seemed like a normal night, right? When I came inside, I thought the kids were sleeping, and I could have swore they were sleeping, but it says in the documents that she had them up till
Well.
9 or 10 at night. I don't
Mhm.
remember them being up that late, so I'll tell you that.
Were you looking at your phone or your watch at what time it was every few
Yeah.
minutes?
I mean, I got a watch on my arm the whole time, and I never look at it, man. I'm always grabbing for my phone.
It's not uncommon unless you're like something specifically happens and you look at the time at that specific time. I know a lot of people are looking at certain times where I think they were asleep by 9:30 and the documents say 10 and like, oh my God, there's 30 minutes here that
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a wild expectation for people to expect to remember things, especially on, like you mentioned, on a night that was pretty normal. But that night, what time did you go to bed?
I went to bed actually a lot later than Malehya did, I think. Like Malehya was already asleep when I came into bed. I remember flicking on the light for the kids at 12 at night, or a little bit after 12, so
Okay, so now I did misunderstand stuff. So it does sound like it still doesn't make sense of where he was. He came in from the fence work. He says that he doesn't believe the kids were asleep. He believes the kids were asleep when he came in, but Malehya says that these rambunctious kids were up until 9 or 10, but that he was lollygagging in this trailer that has missing floor pieces, not a very big place, but somehow everybody in the house went to bed before he went to bed, he assumes. Well, where the hell was he?
a little bit after midnight, and both of the kids were fast asleep under the covers. So, but I never get a chance to see what clothing they were wearing because the blankets were up on them, right?
Did you see the backpack?
Interesting. He's still blaming, so he never saw the kids the night before. You guys noticing this? He has set this interview up where he has not seen the kids at all this night. You guys notice that? because he came in. He says Malehya says that the kids were up until 9 or 10. He doesn't believe that. When he came in, he doesn't remember seeing the kids. They all went to bed before he went to bed. He didn't see the kids, remember, because he never saw them up. He thought they were already sleeping. And Malehya went to bed with Meadow before he went to bed, and he turned the lights on in their room around midnight, right? Just to check on them. He couldn't see them. Why? Because the covers were covering them up. I think he's setting this up for her being alone with these children, unaliving these children, staging the scene, and waiting until he went to bed and getting up and disposing of them. That's where I'm seeing this whole entire interview going. That's what I'm hearing here. Let's keep going.
I don't remember the backpack, the strawberry backpack, but that was always in Lily's room, right?
Okay.
Like
And so-
that was always in Lily's room. Like she never took it out of there, right? That was her backpack for. It wasn't a school backpack. I know a lot of people think that.
Ooh, she never takes it out of her room, but now all of a sudden this is one time that she takes this backpack out of her room. This doesn't make sense. This was not her backpack. He just solidified this was not her school backpack. Interesting. Interesting turn of events. This is a lot of good information, but it's not making him look good.
But
Yeah.
she actually had a pink LOL doll, like for school, and that was her. And the backpack she ended up taking was the one that we bought for when she took to her grandmother's, right? Which would be Cindy Murray.
So when she goes on trips, this was the backpack for trips.
Yeah. She didn't take her school backpack. She took her one that
Cindy is Malehya's mom.
she takes on trips.
Interesting.
Trips or overnight trips or to go to visit. She would use that backpack.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so what's the layout of the house look like? So where
Well, the layout of the house is we have the bedroom at the very end.
Okay.
And then we have Lily and Jack's room and my other kid's bedroom and the bathroom and the kitchen and the living room.
Okay. Now,
So-
how many bedrooms is that?
3-bedroom.
3 bedrooms. And
Yep.
and I know some people have asked, like, Lily and Jack, they shared a bedroom. Was there a reason why one wasn't in one room and one wasn't in the other?
Well, my other kids are in the other bedroom. I mean, it really didn't matter if but I know my daughter Raina and Arlo, they like to be in the same bedroom and they like to play together, right?
Yeah.
So, and
I thought he didn't have custody of those kids. And I thought it had been a while since he was able to see those kids. Does anybody have any information about that? Because he is asking some questions, and I understand what he's trying to say, that it's for his older kids, the kids that he had with another woman, but I'm not hearing that they were staying with him or had stayed with him in the recent days or weeks. Were they at the house when all this happened? I don't think they were, but it makes you question.
it was different. It was a lot different from my other 2 kids, not having like any other kids involved, like with me and then being a family before this, right? So it was kind of new to them. It was kind of new to Lily and Jack as well, especially with the new baby coming in too. So
Yeah.
it was a little bit different for everybody.
And so your other children, they weren't there that night, correct?
No, they weren't. They were there the weekend prior.
So relative to where Jack and Lily's bedroom is to where you guys sleep, how close is that? Is that
Yeah,
like
it's actually the
must
next
share
bedroom.
wall?
It's actually the next bedroom over.
And you guys mentioned that you guys could hear them throughout the morning. Is that correct?
Yes, I actually did hear. I know when it says in the documents that we heard them in the next.
I actually did hear. I don't like the way that sounded. Let's listen to that again. I know that's in a deception deck.
And you guys
Listen.
mentioned that you guys could hear them throughout the morning.
Right,
Is that
right
correct?
here. Listen.
Yes, I actually did hear. Yeah, I know when it says.
He used the word actually. I'm going to stop here for a second because I don't like that. I don't believe these kids were there that morning. That's why. Everything is indicating something happened to the kids the day before. And it sounds like Daniel's trying to give him a way out by saying, he was out working with his mom on the fence. And you can kind of see the new fence, but where is actually? I don't like... second. Honestly, actually, I think it's all under the same thing. Yeah, might be under the same thing, but it's like, honestly, and it says liars often use qualifiers which may reflect insecurity about being words like honestly, frankly, truthfully. Statements can suggest deception. So I don't know. I think a lot of stuff is showing deception. I'd like the deception detective to check out this interview. I really would.
In the documents that we heard them in the next room over, like in their bedroom. I didn't hear them in their bedroom. I heard when Lily would pop in.
You notice how they're like, oh, well, in the reports they've got it saying this, but really it's this. Why didn't you tell law enforcement that? And why didn't you have them correct it? This doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
And I heard Jack in the kitchen.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I heard him rustling around in the kitchen, right? And but then when me and Malehya made our way out to the kitchen.
When me and Malehya made our way out to the kitchen, Malehya never said she left her room.
There was nothing moved.
Nothing moved. So what they were hearing, he's basically saying what we heard is not really what we heard. Wrestling. Exactly, Jamie. This doesn't make sense. Something happened to those children the night before. I guarantee it. And he's trying to put it off on Malehya. I think they were both involved.
The chairs were still perfectly in place.
That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
There was no chairs pulled up against the counter for them to, they usually would jump up and take food if they wanted, because kids always do that, right? They would go into the fridge.
So he's saying he heard them, but he didn't really hear them. Because if he would have heard them, they would have been evidence of him hearing them, because they do specific things, such as, going and getting stuff out of the kitchen, moving the chairs. Everything that he's accustomed to seeing and hearing is not what he's seeing and hearing. Doesn't make sense. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way in. Don't forget to say hi to the people in the chat. We are the Coffee Club. We're going over the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case, and the best ways that you can help the Bullhorn Betty channel is making sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you would like to support this channel, there is a variety of ways to support this channel, including memberships. Please consider one of those opportunities if you'd like to show even more support to the Bullhorn Betty channel.
They would go to the other pantry and grab food if they wanted. Like, they had unlimited food if they wanted to grab it. And, they would go into the fridge, take yogurt cups and eat them, or cereal or whatever.
Starting to focus a lot on food and how they had plenty of food. I don't like that.
So, but nothing was moved, Daniel. Nothing was moved.
Nothing was moved.
Now, they're being loud-ish. I mean, loud enough for you guys to hear them.
Yeah.
Your other daughter, Meadow, she was there, though, right?
Yeah, she was actually laying beside me with Malehya.
Did you guys ever, or did Malehya ever tell the kids to be quiet? Were they ever waking up Meadow at any point with their noise?
In that morning, no. But when Lily poked in, I did go, shh.
Boom, 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 boom. I think the drunken turkey guy, I think he's onto something. They're rambunctious kids, and you guys didn't have to tell them to quiet down one time. That, my friend, is a red flag. Guys, we got a lot more to go over in the case of Lilly and Jack. This interview is far from over. We're probably going to be on the interview for the foreseeable next few days, pulling this entire interview apart. It's over 2 hours long. We will never be able to do it in one setting here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. As a matter of fact, We've only made it through about 6 minutes, and it's already consumed almost an hour of time on the Bullhorn Betty channel, and that's just for 10 minutes. This is filled with a lot of conversation pieces, and we're going to continue breaking down this interview little by slow, because I do not believe Daniel Martell. I believe something's going on. I believe they're responsible for whatever happened to these children. And I believe there are some clues in this interview. So we will be back later this evening, probably around 6, 7, or 8 o'clock at night, to go through a second part of this. So we're going to go through part 2 later this afternoon. We're going to go through part 3 tomorrow. And tomorrow afternoon, we're going to do part 4. I'm hoping that between today and tomorrow, we'll have enough time to get through this entire thing, because the 5th show is going to be just going through all of everything that we found out over the 4 days, if everything goes well. So that's kind of the plan. I hope to see you back later this afternoon. We'll get this show rolled out. We are also going to be, as of Monday, kickstarting our new channel, Right Move Broadcasting, and that is going to be our political channel. If you guys would like all of the news and clues of the updating of what's going on in our country, what's going on in the most recent politics worldwide, the national platform, state platforms, as well as local platforms. We're going to be starting to dive into it as we start approaching 2026 and the 2028 elections. So I hope to see a lot of people over there. It is a biased channel, like much of the Bullhorn Betty channels. I am a conservative, so my viewpoints are conservative. I don't really care if you're a Democrat or Republican, but if you can handle it, I can handle it. But we're going to be talking conservative talking points. We're going to be talking about conservative ideology. If it's not something that you are, if you are a liberal woman, you do not want to be on my political channel, okay? If you're a liberal woman, you really don't even want to be on my my true crime channel. I will be honest with you. I'm anti-liberal woman. Okay, liberal white woman. If anybody wants to call me racist, I'm a racist against a liberal white woman. Okay, I can't stand them. I think that they are the worst creatures that walk among us. So if that offends you, then you probably won't like anything that I have to say to you. So you might want to just block the Bullhorn Betty channel and any affiliated channels that I got, because I don't see where we're going to meet eye to eye. Like I just don't see where that's going to be possible. I don't like working with people that say they're here for good causes, that they want to end crime and then support crime. I do not like white liberal women, okay? I think they are a disease. I think they are a mental basket case, and I think that there's something seriously, seriously wrong with them, okay? So if I think that there's something seriously wrong with them, I'm not going to lie to my audience. I'm not going to pander to political correctness. I think liberal white women are a disease and a cancer to America. God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you soon. Don't forget, tomorrow's Sunday. We can pray for Betty. God bless.